two kinds of souls, Yogi and Bhogi. And it's very interesting if you think about these two kinds of souls, Yogi and Bhogi. Now Baba says that the Yogi ones will become the masters of the new world. Yes, because Baba says those who are Raj Yogis will tomorrow become the kings. They will become the rulers in Satyug. And Baba says there are only very few souls who are yogis in this world, and everybody else is a bhogi. Now, what is a bhogi and what is a yogi? So now you see, when we came to Baba, we were not even aware that I'm a soul and that the soul is the master of the mind, buddhi, sanskar, and the 5 organs. Now you see that anybody who is a master must know that I am the master, and they must know how to give orders to the servants also. Otherwise, if you don't be in your authority, so every master has to be in his authority. So you don't have to be rude or negative, but it is very important that a master doesn't forget his authority. So, and if you forget your authority, then what happens? The servants start dictating you. Yes, and then the whole setup is not working well. And since this question, this point of being in your authority has come up, I would like to underline this a little, that whenever you have a position to hold and whenever you are in a responsible position, it is very important, very, very important, that you don't lose your authority. And it is very important that those who are meant to follow orders, follow orders. And you do not have to be egoistic about it, you don't have to use anger, but you don't have to lose your authority. Let's say somebody disobeys your order. Yes, somebody doesn't listen to you. Then you don't have to stop giving orders. Sometimes, when you are in a position of authority and then somebody is not listening to you, then if you're egoistic, then you will stop giving them orders. But that is ego. That is also ego, that somebody could discourage you from carrying out your duties. But if it is your duty, you have to be in your seat, that this is my authority, and you have to keep giving the order. And if it is not complied, then with authority comes power also. There is some right, some power. You can use that. You don't have to use vices, but you can always use your powers. So if you have financial powers, you can withdraw them. If somebody is not listening to you or not doing what they need to do in that capacity, if you have some other like the power of granting leaves or this or that. But also remember that, in this role, so it's a role, and in that role you have a certain authority, you have to get a certain work done, and for that you're given certain powers which you can withdraw, and this will create pressure on the other soul to follow the orders. This is perfectly okay, but take care that your karma, so karma is something that you create, the way you think, the feelings you create, the attitude. So is your attitude becoming judgmental? Are you creating hard feelings? Are you creating feelings of, looking down upon another? All these things, or are you speaking bitter words, or are you hurting somebody? So those things have to be checked, because karma is a different thing. But so you have to be very careful about the karma you're creating, but you also have to be aware that you have a certain authority and there is a certain responsibility for which you have been given that authority, and then you have to carry out that responsibility, and you can use your authority and the power that comes with that authority to get the work done. That's perfectly okay. So let's say in case of children and parents, so up to a big age, maybe until the child starts earning, the parents have the financial control. They pay for the Wi-Fi, they pay for everything. So you don't have to tell the child, I pay, and you are not doing anything. So that's not how you go about it. But if the child is going on a path which you don't approve of, and you don't approve of means it is not right according to Srimad, because this Gyan is for Baba's children. And if you see that children are going on a path which is not right according to Baba's Srimad, not according to what I think is right or not what I feel is right, no. According to Baba's Srimad, if something is not happening, then you could withdraw those privileges, even without making a hue and cry about it. And then you could use that power to align, to align the children and to come to the same page with you and Baba. So Baba says it is, so these things have to be understood. So it's very important. I told you from a Lokik perspective also, but then you see Baba talks about spiritual matters, and it is very important that the one who has the authority remains aware of its authority. And Baba says the soul is the Malik, the master. And the soul, earlier when we didn't know Baba and we had no knowledge, so the soul, the Malik, was pretty powerless. Yes, so no power the Malik had. That's why all the servants had taken over. So the senses, the mind, the buddhi, they were dictating everything. They were dictating karma, they were dictating thoughts, and everything was happening according to the rule of the senses. And this is called Bhogi Jivan. So what is Bhogi life? Bhogi life means you are under the complete sway of senses. So the soul was under the sway of senses, and the senses dictated what karma the soul would create, what sanskars it would create. Everything was dictated by how your senses made your mind feel or where they pulled your buddhi. It was all about senses. So that's a bhogi life. And this bhogi life makes us earn a lot of debit. Yes, and then what happens because of that debit? We experience sorrow and we experience karam bhog. So, because the senses are dictating everything, and then under the influence of senses, we are creating vikarma. So, again, we have to engage in karam bhog. So, karam bhog means all the ill effects of those vikarma will come and we have to deal with that. So, a bhogi life ensures karam bhog. Okay. Now, Baba says, now I am making you transition into a yogi life. Now, what is a yogi life? A yogi life is a life where the soul is powerful because the soul has drawn power from Baba, and the first power that we draw from Baba is knowledge, and then there is yoga power, there is the power of virtues, there is the power of punya karma, and then the soul becomes pretty powerful. And then the soul, when it is very powerful, then it rules the senses, it dictates. So the mind doesn't think, you choose your thoughts, you choose where you have to focus your buddhi. And I remember Gulzar Dadi used to always say, when you say mera man, my mind, when you say meri buddhi, then how can it move anywhere without your permission? Yes? Does it look nice when a parent says, my child doesn't obey me? Yes? And you take care of them, then the other person will, maybe out of courtesy, they won't say anything on the face, but as soon as they leave, they will say, look, his child, he can't take care, he's saying, you take care of my child, how will I? Yes, so teachers also, when you go and complain in the school, they also say this, that you gave birth to that child and now are we responsible? No, you are responsible for your children. So Baba says, similarly, you have to understand that it is my mind, my buddhi, my sanskar, my eyes, my ears. I have to mind them and they have to follow my orders. And the soul becomes powerful as a yogi. So it is through this yoga or this relationship with Baba, which is only possible in Sangam Yuga. So when Baba comes in Sangam Yuga, then Baba makes us a yogi. So I have yoga with Baba, so I become pretty powerful, and then I rule my senses, my subtle organs. But what do I rule it for? So Baba not only gives us power, but Baba gives us direction, Baba gives us aim and objective. Yes, Baba gives us direction, Baba gives us maryada, Baba gives us aim and objective, Baba gives us what we call Shrimat. So we become the sovereigns or the masters of the senses and the man buddhi sanskar, and we ensure that they work according to Shrimat. So my eyes only see that which is right according to Shrimat. The way I see, what I see is dictated by Shrimat. So my eyes do not cross the maryada that Shrimat has set. Yes, so or my mind doesn't go out of the boundary that Baba has set for the mind. So Baba says this is a yogi life. So a yogi life means a yogi is powerful, a yogi has direction, a yogi has Shrimat, and a Raj yogi has an aim and objective, and you use all your senses, you order all your senses, whether subtle or gross, So there are physical senses, and the subtle senses are the man buddhi sanskar. So you dictate, you order all these senses according to Srimad and achieve your aim and objective. That is a yogi life. And this yogi life, when you become a Raj yogi now, then you become the sovereign of the world. So, world sovereignty tomorrow is your birthright when you become a Raj yogi now. Just like when you become a Bhogi, Karam Bhog is what you get in return. So, when you become a Raj yogi, then you become a ruler in return as a prize for this next. So, this is what Baba is saying, and this is the meaning of being a yogi or a bhogi. But the question that Baba asks today is, what is the most important thing that dictates whether you will shift from a bhogi to a yogi or not? Yes, what is the most important foundation of shifting from a bhogi to a yogi? So Baba says, what is the main basis for transforming a bhogi life into a yogi life? And the answer is faith. So now you understood that shifting or transitioning from a bhogi life to a yogi life is full of a lot of benefit. Okay. But then how do you do that, or how does that become possible? So Baba says, this faith in Baba, this is most important when this question of shifting from a bhogi life to a yogi life comes. And what is faith in Baba? So, faith in who Baba is, faith in what Baba does, faith in what Baba gives. Yes, so Baba tells us who I am. So Baba says, I am, these are my virtues, this is my address, these are my powers. So Baba gives us a whole introduction about who Baba is. Then Baba gives us the introduction about how he comes. Yes, because he tells us that I come, sit in the body of Brahma Baba, and I speak knowledge. And through this knowledge, I give you everything. I give you purity, peace, love, everything, power, and I make you the king of heaven. But you have to have faith that what we listen in the Murli is Baba's knowledge. And then we have to have faith that this knowledge is the source of the income for 21 births. And this knowledge is what will give me mukti and jivan mukti. So only when I imbibe this knowledge can I become eligible for going back home and coming to a world of happiness. So the more we have faith in these aspects, in who Baba is, how he has come, and the knowledge that he is giving is actually the pathway, showing the pathway to mukti and jivan mukti. So when you have faith in all these aspects, then what do? You start paying attention to the teachings, and you start, the most important teaching is be a yogi, remember Baba. So then you start remembering Baba, you start paying attention to whatever Baba teaches, and only then can you become a yogi and eligible for the benefits that a yogi must receive. So Baba says the faith is very important. Until you have the faith that the one who is teaching you is the unlimited Father Himself, neither will you be able to have yoga, nor will you be able to study. You will remain a bhogi. Okay, then, and if you are not a yogi, then where are you deriving your happiness from? From obviously sensual pleasure. Yes, so if you're not a yogi, you're not receiving happiness and power from Baba, then obviously you will look to the world of physical pleasures for happiness and power. So Baba says, this transition. Now, how many of you really have faith? Because there is one question, the one aspect of it is, okay, I know this is Baba. I know that Baba is giving me the inheritance. I believe in it, but the complete faith that every step you walk on Shrimat is taking you closer to being the ruler of heaven. It's that accurate, that much faith. How many of you have? Yes, so just think about it. And the more you have faith, the more you pay attention to remembrance and imbibing teachings. And that's the only way to be eligible to move from this world of sorrow to a world of happiness. So Baba says some children come to class, but they don't have faith in the one who is teaching them. Yes, and that's why when you don't have faith in the teacher, you don't pay attention to the teaching. Yes, do you pay attention to to the teaching if you don't have faith in the teacher? No. Yes, I remember. So there was this one guest faculty who visited our university when I was in the university, and we thought, he is a good for nothing faculty, just being invited, and we didn't know much about them. So half the class bunked that day. So most students were absent from that lecture. And then, later on, and in those days, they were not video recorded or something. So I remember that after the class was over, those who attended the class, they said, he took a really good class, you should have attended, and it was nice, and we didn't know he's such a good faculty. And then we came to know his introduction also, that it was very short notice, so it didn't get announced very well, but he was a big shot in his field and all of that. And then many of us repented also. So sometimes when you don't have faith in the teacher, you don't even attend the teaching. So let alone imbibe the teaching. And even if you attend it, if you don't have faith, then your buddhi is not connected. And then you miss most of the lecture because you don't have faith that they are talking some sense. So Baba says this faith is a very important subject. And Baba says there are some children who come to class, but they don't have faith in the one who is teaching them. They understand that there is some power here, but they wonder how it could be possible for incorporeal Shiv Baba to teach them. And they just keep feeding their doubt. They keep saying that, I don't know, I'm not sure whether Shiv Baba is teaching me, and I don't believe God can come and teach. So that's why they come listen to the teaching also, but they are not able to imbibe the teaching. Why? Because no faith in the teacher. Now, one thing I must tell you, there was a scientist who was of a good rank, and then somebody asked him, so do you believe in God? And then that scientist replied that I believe in God because if God doesn't exist and I believe in him, then I don't lose anything, do I? But if he exists and I don't believe in him, then I lose a lot. And if you just apply it to what Baba is saying today, so you see that those children who listen to the Murli, they are being told that this is Shiv Bhagwanu Vach. So Shiv Baba is speaking the Murli and giving us directions through the Murli, showing us the path which leads to Mukti and Jivan Mukti through the Murli. Now, there are two options. Even if somebody doesn't have faith, there are two options. One is to totally reject that, although everybody is saying that this is Shiv Bhagwanu Vach, I don't believe. And then the second option is, suppose this is true. Yes, let me suppose that this is true. And if it is true, see, if it is not true, even if Shiv Baba is not saying anything in the Murli, maybe God has not come, and still you believe in the teachings of the Murli, you don't lose anything, do you? You become a better person. But if Shiv Baba has come and I'm not following the teachings, then I'd lose a lot. So if somebody who doesn't have faith just started there, that suppose this is God, what would I miss if I didn't believe in it? And so with that supposition, just try to do whatever Baba says in the Murli, because if it is the direction of God, you have to follow it. There is no choice. When God says, you have to follow. So just go by that. And even if you didn't have faith earlier, when you follow the directions, that buddhi, which was incapable of recognizing Baba, that buddhi will become pure, because the purifier's directions will purify the buddhi. And when the buddhi starts becoming pure, that capacity of the buddhi, which was lost, that capacity of recognizing Baba, that capacity will come back. And slowly that suppose this is Baba will change to I have complete faith this is Baba, because that will come from your experience. So Baba says, this is why don't keep sitting and thinking and saying that, how do I know this is God? How do I know? Just start there. Even if there is no faith, it's okay. Sometimes we come from a journey of 63 births where there has been so much hurt and breach of trust that we don't have the capacity for faith, because faith is a very good virtue and not everybody comes in Gyan with faith. So it's okay even if you don't have faith in the beginning, but just give it a chance. So just don't reject it that I don't feel that Baba can come, how can God come? But you see, in the Gita, you have been listening that Bhagwan Uvach, which means God comes and speaks. So you have been listening to Gita and listening Bhagwan Uvach, which means God comes and speaks. So when we have heard that God comes and speaks, then let me suppose that when God is telling me in the Murli that I am speaking, maybe this is true. And let me just try and follow the teachings. Do as what Baba says. And then you will see slowly, gradually, your buddhi will have the capacity to recognize Baba. And Baba says that children who have such stone intellects cannot be transformed. So if you just become a stone intellect and keep saying, how can Baba come? What is the proof? How do I believe? So the proof of the pudding is in the eating. If you say first you have to prove it to me that it is sweet and then I'll eat it, can somebody prove it to you it is sweet? No. You have to taste it with your own tongue. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So you have to understand that unless you suppose this is Baba, unless you follow the teachings, how will you come to the realization that this is the teaching that is giving me mukti and Jivan Mukti? So Baba says, don't be a stone head. So the stone intellect one will only keep using this useless logic. How will I know? How will I have the proof? So you will have the proof when you experiment with it. So this is something. And then in today's Murli, Baba says that I am the purifier. I have come to purify you. And only when you become pure, you will go to a pure world. Okay? And Baba says, I am the purifier. No one else is the purifier. And in today's Murli, Baba says, in the whole world, no one gives you the direction to become pure. Even Lokik parents, they give you the direction only to become impure. So, not one single soul in this whole world will give you the direction to be pure. Why? Because nobody is pure. So how will they give you the direction to be pure? And have you seen that Ravan is shown to have 10 heads? So, 10 heads, 10 mouths. But in fact, Ravan doesn't have only 10 mouths. Ravan has as many mouths as many there are souls in the world. Because every soul is Ravan's mouth. And when they speak, they only speak Ravan Mat. They only direct you to be vicious. Yes, and Baba says that I have only one mouth, the mouth of Brahma Baba. And the purifier speaks from that mouth. The only versions of God are Murli. And whatever else you hear in the whole world, every day, all day, from as many people you listen, they are only talking about Ravan Mat. They are only trying to tell you to become vicious. So Baba says that this is why you must understand that you only have to listen to Shiv Baba and none other. Because everybody is under the influence of vices. Yes. And I remember there is a family, and in that family, Lokik family, the daughter came to Gyan. And then she told her mother. So the first thing the daughter did was she ran to the mother and tried to give her the Gyan, because the daughter loved the mother very much. And then the mother refused to accept the Gyan. And then the daughter said, Didi, Mummy is not accepting the Gyan, and I would like very much my mother to understand the Gyan. I want her to go to heaven with me. And then I said, it's okay, everybody has their part. And then she started doing her purushat. She started preparing food for herself, cooking and all, pure food, everything she started doing. And then after some months, when she visited the mother, she told the mother that, I eat pure food, so I will cook on my own. And then the mother used to take non-vegetarian and everything. So she said, I won't accept food here. I will cook on my own. And the mother said that my heart is full of sorrow and I'm very hurt, and I really am disappointed with you. And she created such hue and cry that all the members of the family started blaming the daughter. And then the daughter just cried and said, "But you're the first one I gave gyan to. How do I not love you? I love you very much, but you didn't love me back. You didn't accept the gyan because of my love. Your love for food was much more than your love for me. But then today, because of that same food, you are cursing me. But where is the love? And you say you love me a lot and I hurt you." So it's not love, Mama, it's attachment. Because your love is not making you do anything, it's only making you curse me. So you see, this is how the world works. So people will say that, you love, I love you, I love this, that. But when it comes to doing something out of love for you, even if you don't know Baba, you don't know anything, but somebody who claims they love you, if you're doing something, can't they do it for love for you? Out of love for you, just like that, can't they do it? But when you don't do things according to them, they will blame you. They will say, I'm hurt and I'm this and that and I'm having a heart attack. And so you are not having a heart attack because you love me. You are having a heart attack because you're very attached to your vices. And you are not only attached to your vices to the extent that you want to be vicious, you even get hurt when other people are not accepting that vice. So you're not attached to any human, you are only attached to your vices. So this is why Baba says, there is no one in the world who is pure. There is no one in the world who will show you the path of purity. And anybody who is impure will always tell you that your purity, your lifestyle, you're not eating with them, this, that, and blah, 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 they are hurting them. But Baba says, no, it is just impurity, it is just Ravan. So have you seen that in Ramayana, what does Ravan do when he comes? He calls out to your morality. So what does he say? I am a Brahman, a Bhikshuk, and why don't you cross the line to give me alms? And if you don't do that, then you are a bad person. Yes, so this is how Ravan always calls out. Ravan will always say, it is very moral for you to give in to my demands, but if you don't do that, you are a bad person. So you waking up at Amrit Vela will make you a bad person. You not eating impure food, you're a bad person. So that's how Ravan works. And Baba says there are as many mouths of Ravan as many are there human beings. So every Ravan will call out to you like that. Don't listen to anybody because they are only distracting you from the voice of Baba. So Baba says, I am the only purifier. If you want to move from this world of sorrow and impurity to world of happiness, then you have to listen to me. And for that you have to recognize that every other voice is a voice of Ravan. Okay?